Why do we have so much difficulty making decisions? The answer may be deeper than we imagine. The problem is not just the fear of making a mistake, but rather the uncertainty about who we really are. When we don't know our own essence, any decision feels like a leap into the unknown. After all, choosing means excluding all other possibilities, and if we lack clarity about what we want, any path seems uncertain. The philosopher Erich Fromm explains that many people run from freedom because it comes with responsibility. So to avoid the weight of consequences, we outsource our decisions, which also means outsourcing blame or settle into inaction, thinking that this way, we are avoiding risks. However, when we fail to act, we become prisoners of circumstances and allow the world to decide for us, only to later blame it for the consequences. But is this difficulty in deciding really ours, or is it something we were taught? Perhaps the problem lies not just in the decision itself, but in the values we carry unconsciously. Hannah Arendt talks about how modernity has transformed us into individuals more concerned with keeping society's machinery running than with acting autonomously. Over time, we have become accustomed to following rules without questioning them, which directly affects our ability to make decisions. Instead of choosing based on our essence, we choose based on what we have been taught is right. The problem is that these rules were not designed to set us free, but rather to ensure we fit into a system. The difference between morality and ethics may seem subtle, but it makes all the difference in how we live. Morality is a set of social rules defined by a specific context that dictates how we should act. Ethics, on the other hand, is a deeper principle, a personal commitment to what is just and true. While morality changes over time and varies by culture, ethics is timeless and requires reflection. The conflict arises when we realize that following moral standards does not always mean doing what is best for us. But how can we break away from deeply ingrained patterns? How can we tell if a choice reflects our true self or simply the expectations of others? The answer may lie in what Arendt called the banality of evil. When studying the trials of Nazis who committed atrocities during World War II, she observed that many were not monsters but ordinary people who simply followed orders without reflecting on their actions. This reveals a subtle danger. When we outsource our decisions to prevailing morality, we may lose the ability to think for ourselves. Even on a smaller scale, this applies to our daily lives. When we follow norms without questioning them, we relinquish our own autonomy. Fear may whisper that it is safer to follow expectations, but courage responds that no amount of security is worth the price of a life without meaning. If making a decision is already difficult, dealing with the consequences can seem even worse. The fear of failure paralyzes us, and the possibility of making mistakes haunts us. But is there really such a thing as a perfect decision? Or are we simply seeking control that we will never truly have? Psychology suggests that resistance to decision-making is often linked to the illusion of perfectionism. We want absolute certainty that we are making the right choice, avoiding any risk or regret. But reality doesn't work that way. Donald Winnicott, in studying child development, found that growth only happens when a child explores the world, makes mistakes, experiences frustration, and learns. And the same applies to adulthood. There is no maturity without action. Any action is better than inaction. When we refuse to choose, we believe we are avoiding mistakes, but we are merely postponing our own evolution. Even a wrong choice moves us forward, teaches us, strengthens us. Look back and ask yourself, was it only the right choices that brought you here? Standing still only creates the illusion of safety. The real risk is never allowing yourself to change. Life teaches, but only to those willing to learn. Every choice reveals something about ourselves, and every mistake gives us the chance to recalibrate our path. However, many people live on autopilot, repeating patterns without realizing it. They think they are living in the present, but in reality, they are merely reliving the past in endless cycles. Psychoanalysis shows us that what we do not consciously learn tends to repeat itself. Imagine someone who always abandons projects halfway through. They may believe that nothing works out for them, when in fact, they may be avoiding the discomfort of commitment, the fear of failure, or even the fear of success. Until this lesson is consciously understood, life will continue presenting new projects, forcing them to confront this challenge over and over again. Maturity comes when we stop seeing reality as a series of random events and begin to recognize it as a field of learning. Just as a first-time mother might panic when her baby puts sand in their mouth, imagining the worst scenarios and rushing to the hospital, a more experienced mother knows that this happens all the time and that a simple deworming treatment will solve the problem. What changed was the experience. Similarly, life teaches us through confrontation. What once seemed unbearable eventually becomes just another situation we learn to handle. Every decision comes with a cost. Choosing one path means letting go of others, and this sacrifice can be uncomfortable. But not choosing also has a price: stagnation, frustration, and a life unlived. The longer we delay our decisions, the more we become spectators of our own existence, waiting for something external to rescue us. Maturity is not about knowing all the answers, but about taking charge of our own story. Immature people avoid choices because they fear the consequences, preferring to blame fate, the government, a difficult childhood, or bad luck. But those who mature understand that, while there are factors beyond our control, it is our response to them that determines where we go. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment to act. They want certainty that they are making the right decision, the foolproof plan, the risk-free path. But life offers no guarantees. If you wait for absolute security before taking action, you will spend your days planning and your nights doubting, never moving forward. And that is precisely why happiness cannot be a destination, but rather a construction. It does not happen when all the pieces of life fall into place. It happens when we accept chaos, embrace imperfection, and move forward despite not having all the answers, because in the end, it's about making mistakes, learning, adjusting, and continuing to move forward. Life demands a price from all of us. But those who choose to pay the price of their own freedom discover something valuable. Living authentically is costly, but nothing is more expensive than a wasted life. Life doesn't wait. Every day we delay a decision is a day less spent living the life we truly want. In the end, it won't be fear that weighs the most, but rather the regret of never having tried. Whether you choose or not, time moves on. Your life moves on. The question that remains is, do you want to be the person who watches life happen, or the one who gets up and builds it with their own hands? The choice has always been yours. Don't give up. If you enjoyed this content, keep investing in yourself. Watch the video that's appearing on your screen now.